Hello again, welcome back to my little Jeti instructional videos. This one is going to be setting up what is commonly called a gear failsafe. In other words, a system that will put your air-driven retracting undercarriage down should the air pressure fall below a certain safety value. For this, you would need the Jeti M-bar telemetry sensor in the model, which is plumbed into the air system and measures its pressure. The system I'm going to show you is very simple. It's just got retracting legs. There are no doors or sequencers involved. But at the end point where I assign the switch to operate the retracts up and down, you could do the same thing to initiate a sequencer to operate the doors as well. The idea behind the system is that we use a logic switch which takes an input from the switch on the transmitter and an input from the telemetry sensor. And if the retract switch is up and the telemetry sensor is above the minimum value that you want, it'll allow the wheels to come up. But if either the switch is down or the telemetry sensor is below that particular value, the wheels will go down. But I'll also show you how to stop it dropping the wheels should the telemetry transmission drop out, which you can do quite a lot with a jet, just for a couple of seconds. And if you don't know what to do, you'll end up the wheels popping up and down all the time, simply because the telemetry drops out for a moment because it's a weak signal compared to the main transmission. So anyway, off we go. So we've fitted the model with an M-bar pressure sensor, plumbed it in, got that running. What we need to do first of all is look at the telemetry controls. So we go into telemetry controls and you can label it. I've labeled it gear failsafe. The enabled is switched on. The sensor, you can have different things. So you go into the menu, have a look for your M-bar, and here we are, M-bar pressure. Although you can display and record your M-bar pressure in various types of units, and I always use pounds per square inch or PSI. That's a conversion done in the transmitter, really. The system sends kilopascals, and the only option in here is in kilopascals for some reason. It won't let you set it in PSI. If you need to therefore convert what you want in PSI into kPa, let's say you want it to work at 60 psi, just Google convert 60 psi to kPa and it will either give you the answer or it'll give you websites that give you the answer. Type of control will be a switch because we simply want it to switch on or off if it goes above or below the value. Come down to the condition. The condition will be X is greater than, and I've chosen a value of 400 kilopascals. What that is in PSI I can't remember. It'll be something like 60 or 70. As I said, use Google to find it out. Plus or minus no kilopascals. So basically as soon as it goes up greater than 400.0 kilopascals, the switch will go on. If it equals or goes below 400.0 kilopascals, the telemetry control switch goes off. Duration will be 0 seconds. The idea behind this is that if you set a duration, it would have to be at that for however many seconds you set before the switchover takes place. That lets you get around a bit of hysteresis if something's wiggling around the value. That doesn't really happen with air pressure. It's not like battery voltages swinging up and down as things happen. And if a leak occurs, like a pipe comes detached or a little split appears, the pressure could be dropping quite rapidly. I don't want delays, and so no duration. Now this one down here, default. The system will initially just go to 0. I've set a default of 100. And what that does is this is a setting in the transmitter that says if there's no value from the telemetry sensor, use 100%. If there's a value from the telemetry sensor, overwrite it. 100%, in other words, on. And this is how you avoid the gear going up and down, up and down, up and down, as the telemetry transmission just drops out. You know, you're at the back end of the circuit or you've got a little bit of shielding. And this can happen quite often with jets. The telemetry will just drop out for a second or 2 seconds. Not a safety issue at all, but if the pressure drop, the telemetry drops out, the logic switch says, well, I've got nothing there, and I've been told to drop the gear, so it will drop the gear. So by putting 100% in there, you avoid this happening. So that's our telemetry control setup. What this does is say, if the pressure is greater than 400 kilopascals, then switch on, or if the telemetry has failed, switch on, otherwise switch off. Okay, now we can go to create the logic switch. No, is it that one? Yes, gear failsafe. And the logic switch, again, I've given it a little name called gear fail, enabled it. The control one will be MX1, which is that telemetry sensor value we've just set up. And control 2 is switch B, which for me happens to be down here, my retract switch. Switch it up, it goes to a tick, switch it down, it goes off. So what the system is saying here is that MX1, the telemetry control, is switched on, and even though the model's switched on, it's saying it is on, because remember I set that default as 100%. SB, retract switch is up, therefore using an AND operator, if both that and that are ticks, the output of the logic switch is a tick. Should the telemetry value fall below that setting in the telemetry control, or switch B is switched to the down position, at least one of those goes off, and therefore the output must go off. So there's our logic switch created for it. Now we use that logic switch instead of the retract switch to switch the channel. So for that, we come out of there, into the model, functions assignment, gear, and here you can see the gear has been set to logic switch 1 instead of SB. And that's it.